And I've listened carefully to you. As if you walked with me today, but the question of tariffs was discussed this afternoon. What I cannot report back here is whether I took action in the area that affected you or not. But if I miss that, I go back to rectify wherever. The joy is there that many of you employed people to live a life and inform people to get information, educated, and straighten our mind. There's no morning that I ever leave my house without going through the 8 papers. It's an addiction. I read all of you. It might not be in full detail, but headline, the one that will hit me, the one I was just initially at the beginning of this administration a little stubborn because that heat was on from the papers and from various opinion leaders in this country. But the problem is leadership comes with responsibility of taking decision at the time it ought to be done. Otherwise, it's a failure. At the time we have to confront the subsidy, Nigeria was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. But having asked for the job and getting it, I can look back other than make corrections as I move along. Save the nation, bring it back from the brinks. Today, I can stand proudly before you that we are back from that brinks. Can you imagine a nation that is owning the airline for reimbursement of their tickets and galloping exchange rates, galloping inflation? Yes, I accept the asset and liability of my predecessor because I asked for the job and it was given to me, right? So I have to do it. But if anybody tells you it's easy, it's a lie. You people are great minds with fire on the bonnet. Thank you for inspiring me and challenging me in critical moments of my life. It is very critical because if I look at various barrages of negative comments and positive aspect of the assignment, I shouldn't be here standing. That is the truth. You didn't spare me, but you challenged me, provoked that intellectual curiosity of a leader that must perform. That's the way I see it. I didn't categorize anybody as arch critic or, I see them as simulators who can build a nation. We all want good for this country. There's no doubt about that. So no matter how critical an opinion is or on the edge of it, they want the goodness of the country. And there can only be one man at a time that will govern. I asked for the job, you gave it to me. Nigerian people gave it to me. I have to do it. So accept liability of predecessor. No complaint, do the job. Thank you very much. And I've seen the innovations coming at this particular challenging period. I know you are challenged. It's very tough out there. Source and application of fund is almost impossible to decipher in a time of challenges, and that you've seen it carefully that no one of us is insulated. We are a member of this world community. What's happening in the Middle East or anywhere else always, will affect us. Will definitely affect us. Looking at opportunity to really correct things and make life more easier for the downtrodden. We've opened up the principle of federalism to the extent that, okay, local governments are now getting their money, but how they use it is in your hand. So don't bombard me alone. Look to the local government too. And equally, the subnational, enjoy the freedom. Today, there's no state that is borrowing to pay salaries of employees. Yes, we can complain it's not enough. We can complain we are not where we should be. But we have to manage what we have to sustain today, survive tomorrow, and make progress. And I promise you, the job that I'll continue to do is dedication, patriotic dedication to improve Nigeria. It is all in our hands. It's a collective responsibility. You, myself, and those people that we assign. Don't mind the screaming sometimes. And I'm glad Duke is sponsoring Leke now while we are talking about the Gugu and external interference in our affairs. Whichever way we can take it, we run with the stick. We join you in, saying Nigeria, we hail thee. we will survive the challenges.
The Republic of Nigeria, Commander-in-Chief of the senior government officials present, and of course, our dear father, Uncle Sam Mamuka, the Aremu, and the president of the Newspaper Publishers Association of Nigeria. I am not a doctor. In fact, beginning journalism at The Guardian, we were told that everybody was a mister. So I'm simply Mr. But I make this comment, sir, on behalf of the Nigeria Press Organization. Your Excellency, Mr. President, Ramadan Kareem, on behalf of the Nigerian Press Organization and the entire community of journalists, publishers, and broadcasters across the country, I bring you warm Ramadan greetings. We are deeply honored by your hospitality and grateful for this opportunity to break bread with you on this blessed time of the year. Mr. President, you have constantly demonstrated strong commitment towards a free, vibrant, and economically sustainable media in Nigeria, and we are grateful. It is in that spirit that we have come to you today, not as petitioners, certainly not to interrogate government policy, but as partners in the project of national development, and as an industry that remains indispensable to Nigeria's democracy. There are 3 issues in particular that we would like to raise very, very quickly. The first relates to the matter of, in fact, all of them relate to the matter of the survival of the media, but I'll be starting with the first one, which is around tariff and other costs inflicted upon us. We consider ourselves as sources for education and enlightenment in society. Import duty under government's tariff schedule, specified in the ECOWAS Common External Tariff CET, as adopted by the Nigerian government and listed under the Nigerian Customs duty exemption list schedule. I would leave all that. Please, sir, very, very quickly, is simply to passionately and to ask for your gracious intervention in ensuring that these tariffs, whether they relate to import duty for newsprint that we all must import, because not a single ton of newsprint is made in Nigeria, whether they relate to broadcasting equipment, whether they relate to ink and other materials used by the media, we appeal, sir, for an exemption at a time like this. That is our first prayer, Mr. President. Our second prayer relates to the matter of the danger that the big technology firms pose to the media, not only in Nigeria, but across the world. The activities of Google, in bracket Alphabet, Meta, in bracket Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and all the others are having a significantly negative impact on the survival of the media industry. And studies by UNESCO and other global organizations point to the danger posed by big technology firms to traditional media in countries across the world. It's even more severe in our own environment, given the peculiarity that we all have to operate under. The facts are clear, sir. The problems that I have just spoken to on behalf of the press organization relating to big tech is being dealt with by governments across the world. In South Africa, for instance, there has been a negotiation for the last 1 year with a number of the big tech firms. Already, one of them has already paid 668 million rand, equivalent of $50 million as first payment. And negotiations with others are progressing as well. What is our prayer? Our prayer is that Mr. President grants permission for the Nigerian media to work with the Federal Competitiveness Committee, as was done in South Africa, to enter into negotiations with the big technology firms to ensure that what they take, and what they take is for us between life and death, that it costs them something. When this journey started with the big tech firms, we were told we were partners, that we will benefit from the work that they are doing. They have become so big now that on the table we don't even have a voice. It's as bad as the fact that even for newspapers that have a paywall on their website, AI firms are able to generate, passing the website, able to generate summaries, which means that all you do, that those you pay salaries work to produce, ends up getting you nothing. Mr. President, we don't want to bore you tonight. Tonight is a very, very special occasion that we don't meet with you every day. And we think it would be remiss of us to come here and have a great dinner without letting you know. You are our father. You are the father of the nation. There is no child that will meet his father and not cry to him when he is in pains. We expect, Mr. President, for an opportunity to take this further with the government, that we appeal passionately for your kind and urgent intervention.
Of Nigeria and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Our Vice President, very cordial and friendly Vice President, the Minister of Information, to be the President of the MPAN and the leader of the Nigerian Press Organization, Lady Made in Hebrew, and in-law to the President. Those of us who are here today are made up of NPAN, Nigeria Newspaper Proprietors Association, the Guild of Editors, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, and the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, and other agencies. First of all, Mr. President, we want to thank you. The President is one president who knows virtually everybody that is here. I've been watching him. He looked left, he saw Fidelis. I said, Fidelis. Azu was just walking by. I said, Azu. And that's Mr. President for you. He knows all of us. And we are grateful to you. Perhaps you are the first president who can call all of us by first name, which is a big plus. It's not that common. Secondly, we want to thank you for your courage, your determination, your tenacity of purpose, and ruggedness. Sir Amuka is here. He won't let me rest. go and tell him, look, this is the problem. You will come to my house, you will disturb me, tell him, look. I said, Sam, and each time I come to the president will say, look, I will not change from what I believe in. Because Sam was worried as a fallout of the fuel subsidy and the multiple exchange regime. Today, we are all clapping and saying how both the official market and the parallel market are all virtually the same, if not for your tenacity. Those of us around you are begging that you should please redesign the whole thing. We will not today be happy. We thank you very much. Now, on the NRS, and I'll just give you one few examples. The NRS, when it first started, I came to the president and said, too much noise. The governors don't want to hear about it. Too many people don't want to hear about this Nigerian Revenue Services. He said, he has sent the thing to the National Assembly, and the governors, legislators, I said no. He said, he has a way of debunking anything you bring to it. He said, are the one going to decide? I said no. He said, well, let them go, let the legislators go and decide. Today, in spite of all this problem, you stood your ground. On Christmas Day, I went to him. I said, well, look, they are talking so much about this NRS again. The bill that is sent, the act, and I said, Mr. President, can you consider 1st of April? He said, oh, well, that's a good idea. But as I was leaving, I saw Yedele. As I was driving out, Zach was driving in. When we met at your festival on the 28th of December, he said he's changed his mind. That come fire, come rain, the NRS will go into effect from 1st of January. I said, Mr. President, because he made up his mind. And today, everything is what we call well-low. I want to thank you. God will continue to give you this courage, this belief in your vision, and your conviction to follow on your vision. I'm not the one going to speak on behalf of the organizations here. I'm only to just open the ground under the umbrella of Lady Medinibru, our president, and our elder, Samamuka, who refused at 91 to give up. When he keeps insulting me, go your way. We were yesterday, he said, you stupid boy. I said, well, look, don't let me use the patience. I said, will you please keep quiet, Sam? I responded to him. Your friend is here. Mr. President, thank you very much. We'll continue to pray for you. God will grant you the grace. We've seen so much success. And he's worried. Every time I talk to him, he said, please go and talk to your governors. They have more than enough money. The local government issue, the state police, these are not easy things to tackle. Tell your governor to let the money go down to the ground level. I have done my own. He said it's like pyramid. You know, the word he uses for me is that this is a pyramid. I've done my own at the top. Let the governors do their own at the bottom. We'll continue to talk to them. May God continue to bless you. And the spirit of Ramadan and Lent be with you forever and ever. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Mr. President.
Chief Shegun Oshoba, Your Excellency, when approval was given by you to host this dinner, the first person I called upon is Baba Shegun to persuade them to see if the timing can be changed. And Chief Shegun Oshoba arrived yesterday in the company of the veteran, our Baba, Uncle Sam. Your Excellency, I don't know whether you have noted the symbol of the cap on the head of Chief. It's moving gradually towards a particular symbol. media that you see here today, I took pain to call each of them after, of course, speaking with the leadership of MPN, BORN, and the Nigerian Guild of Editors. I took time to call them. I called Chief John Momo, and he said, Honorable Minister, I'm in London. I said, well, Mr. President has graciously asked me to tell you to be at this dinner. And he said, I'm going to take the flight tomorrow morning and I will be here. And he's here today. He came straight from London today. The same thing with the Duke. He was also supposed to travel out of the country, but he said he will not miss this dinner. Mr. President, all of them here have a special persuasive expectation about the strength and character of your person and your leadership. And that is why, because I know the media, sometimes when any political leader calls them, they say, don't mind him, we will not eat his food. But sir, everyone that is important in the media sector in this country today is here in this room. All of them. This is not just something that indeed, when I was talking to the president of the Guild of Editors, I asked them to submit a list of only 20 people. He kept expanding the list until I told him, look, the banquet hall of the villa is not that elastic. We have to stop at some point. But all of them are here. Mr. President, thank you very much for that. In the first year of your administration, you hosted the Newspaper Proprietors Association to a working lunch here in this room. In the second year, Your Excellency, you hosted the Nigerian Guild of Editors, the first by any Nigerian leader at the banquet hall. Today, I'm aware that there are a lot of groups in this country that are desirous of having this iftar dinner with you. You have said there are too many. But when it came to the media, you say, oh, this is very important. This underscores the kind of importance, the relevance that you think the media has in our democracy. We thank you so much, and I'm expressing this on behalf of all of them because they have told me this individually. I want to say something about what Chief Frank has said. All the time, because it is easier for them to meet me. They say, go and tell the president about this and that. The president has not, go and talk this one. Today they have an opportunity and they have said what they want to say. And let me use this opportunity to tell the MPO that indeed the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation and all the regulatory agencies, relevant regulatory agencies, are already engaging with the big techs. Meta and Google, they are all in our offices and we have held meetings. We are already anticipating this and we are working on that. I believe that the president will not allow anybody to come here and just rip from our economy and go away. He will continue to do that. But let me also say that each time I go to see Mr. President to brief him or to receive directive from him, what he tells me is, how are your people? What are they saying? How are they doing? And I keep telling them, the message that you have for them. Your Excellency, thank you for what you do for the media. Thank you for the kind of support that you have given me to drive this sector. And thank you for the kind of encouragement that you are giving everyone. You see, in 2023, when you took, May 2023, when you took office, Nigeria was on the so-called gray list, meaning that it was difficult for people to do business in this country. All the rating agencies of the world, the S&Ps, the Moody's, Fitch, all of them are rating Nigeria not so good. Our foreign reserve was down, GDP was down, inflation is high. Today, Your Excellency, our own expectation of the figure that we want to achieve in terms of inflation coming down, we have surpassed that. food inflation is down. For the first time in 13 years, we have crossed the $50 billion mark in our foreign reserve. The MD of the World Bank, the IMF, all of them are saying that Nigeria is indeed a destination for people to come and do business. I think these are all positive directions that we are going. All the children, over 900,000 of them that should have been out of school, are in school today on account of one single policy of NELFON that Your Excellency has instituted. And the desire of the President is that no one, no child, no young man or woman that should be in school should be out of school simply on account of the inability of his parent or guardian to pay for his tuition and to pay for his upkeep. I'm saying all this today, Your Excellency, because it is important for our partners here, the fourth estate of the realm, to recognize this, to partner with government in order for him to advance this. If this can be achieved in less than 3 years, Your Excellency, I don't know what we are going to do after the next 3 years. We thank you for the support. We thank you for the direction you have given. And we thank you for allowing the press to also do its work. At no time, not once, has the President ever called me to say, go and do this or go and do that. It's a product of press freedom himself, and he has told me several times that we will not in any way, form, or shape gaggle, stifle the press, or stand in the way of press freedom or freedom of expression. But we must know, my colleagues, that this freedom that we all enjoy also comes with enormous responsibility. You cannot take away freedom and throw away the responsibility that comes with it. Therefore, all of us at this point must come together to fight the menace of fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. And that is why Mr. President himself took another step by asking me to go and get the hosting right by UNESCO so that Nigeria can host the first Media and Information Literacy Institute anywhere in the world. The first one is coming to Nigeria, and it is going to be unveiled by the President in April. This is in addition to all the effort that Mr. President is doing. So we want to thank you, sir. And I also want to ask my colleagues to please show more understanding, patience, cooperation, as Mr. President drives this nation to the prosperity that all of us so desire. Thank you for the opportunity, Your Excellency, to say